the class. So in this video, we are going to study about meaning, evolution, function. The word entrepreneur is derived from the French word entreprendre. It means to undertake. If you undertake anything, from that word, the word entrepreneur has been derived. The concept of entrepreneurship was first established in 70s. Many simple equate it with starting one's own business, right? Many people, they call entrepreneurship as starting one's own business. And most economists, they believe it is more than that of starting a business, right? It is much more. It has a wider kind of scope. Various people, they are giving a definition. They have told about entrepreneurship. Richard Cantillon in 1725, he has told about an entrepreneur is a person who undertakes to do a job, right? Who has to do something with a job. While Adam Smith in the year 1776, he has said as an entrepreneur is a person who acts as an agent in transforming demand into a supply. While Baptiste, he says about entrepreneur is a person who shifts resources from an area of low productivity to high productivity. While John Stuart Mill, he says as an entrepreneur is a prime mover in the private enterprise. So there are some of the people who has said what entrepreneur is. Now, if you see about entrepreneurship, there are three phases in the entrepreneurship. First is entrepreneurship, and enterprise. Entrepreneur is a person, an individual who has some plan, who has some business goal, business plan. So such kind of person is an entrepreneur. While an entrepreneurship is a process, right? How you are going to achieve to that particular thing, that is called as an entrepreneurship. While an enterprise is the outcome, the final what is coming out of an entrepreneurship, that is an enterprise. So let us go with some of the definitions. Entrepreneur is an individual who undertakes a new entity to offer a new product or a services into whether it is of a profitable or a non-profitable outcome, right? Some new entity you're starting, or you're starting with some old product or a services in existing or a new market with some profitable or non-profitable outcomes. So that particular person is an entrepreneur. Similarly, he has to face the risk, uncertainty, and he should achieve the profit and growth by identifying opportunities and assembling the necessary resources to capitalize on them. So he is an entrepreneur. So these are some of the functions of entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur generally will have innovation in his mind. Whatever idea you take, the idea generation will happen, and newness you will find because of innovation. Whether he is doing a business or whether he is following any kind of job, you will find that entrepreneurs will be innovative. Their business will be having a kind of innovation. While similarly, an entrepreneur will be taking risk. He will be taking risk taking capacity will be there. If you find with the other businessmen who are doing a normal course of a business, they won't be taking any business risk. They will be just buying and selling the goods. They will be doing some trade or some activities. But when you see about an entrepreneur, they will be taking risk. As it is said in the business, where there is more amount of risk, there is more amount of profit, right? And when there is less amount of risk, the profit share is also very much less. So risk taking is also a function of an entrepreneur. Then organization building. Entrepreneur will do organization building. He will focus on people. He will try to make one organization by his own capabilities, by his skills, by his power, right? Because he will start by his own first. then by that he will start a firm, he will start a company tomorrow. So due to his own skills, you will find that there will be a lot of improvement in the business. So he will build a full organization. There will be an organization building. That is a function of entrepreneur. Then absorb uncertainty. Entrepreneur is a person who will be planning for the kind of uncertainties. If you see about normal businessman or normal person, they won't be that much planning about some uncertainty. If any uncertainty comes, they won't be stable in the business. But if you see about entrepreneur, they will be in advance, they will be planning for those all kind of uncertainties. So they will absorb all those uncertainties which are coming in the business. So this is also an important function, because if any uncertainty comes, that uncertainty might be coming for your business for the first time, but it will spoil your entire business if it is not planned properly. So a businessman, entrepreneur will have a important function that he will absorb all the kinds of different uncertainties. Similarly, frame the challenges. He will have whatever challenges are coming ahead, he will make a proper frame towards it, and he will try to overcome all the challenges with his capacities, with his knowledge, with his skills, with the different kind of techniques, right? With the skills like the analytical skills, with the detailed investigation studies. So he will try to overcome all those challenges. That is also an important function of an entrepreneur. Then he will build commitment. An entrepreneur will also have a commitment, right? A businessman who wants to be an entrepreneur, or anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, he will be very committed to his work. He will be tried to give more than that what exactly a person can give, right? He will be very committed towards sales, marketing, profit. So towards all the angle of the business, he will be very much committed. So he will build commitment not only on him or his part, but also commitment towards the staff members, but also commitment towards the different part in the organization. All right, so these are some functions. We'll study the detail other functions. First is idea generation. When there is an idea generation, an entrepreneur will implies product selection and project identification. He during the first phase of the business where idea generation has happened, entrepreneur has thought of some idea. So there his functions are like, he implies product selection. He has to select a product, in which particular product he is going to do the business. And then project identification. After selecting a product, what kind of project he will be doing a business, that will be identified by an entrepreneur, right? So that is called as project identification. Similarly, determination of business objectives. An entrepreneur's function while determining the business objective is formulate a business objective clear about the nature and type of business. He has to make the objectives of the business very clear, because on the objectives of the business only he is going to frame his own vision of the company, and on that basis only the mission of the company will be made. So the objective of the company will play a very important role, right? So then he has to formulate business objective in a proper way, then clear about nature and type of business. So what kind of nature of the business is there and what type of a business he is going to do, that also need to be very clear. Then during the third stage, then rising of the funds. When he raised the fund from the internal source as well as external source, so he should raise the funds. That is a function that he should raise not only from internal sources. Internal sources like self investment he is doing, he is utilizing from the reserves and surplus, retained earnings. So that all are different internal sources. Apart from that, he should also raise the funds from the external sources. That capability should be there in an entrepreneur to raise the funds from the market. Then procurement of machines and materials. During this particular stage of the business, you need to identify and regularize the sources, right? You should try to identify the types of machines, materials. You should try to see the different alternatives. You should try to see the feasible cost of it, and then regularize the sources. How he is going to pay towards those all, capital investments that need to be regularized. It should not be like once he is doing it, that will be for the rest of the business. No, regularizing it, the procurement of machines and materials, how he is going to regularize is that particular things. That is also a very important function of an entrepreneur. Then comes market research. After having that, undertakes market research to know the details of the intending product, right? Then what kind of market is that? What kind of people are demanding, right? Those products need to be manufactured and produced by the entrepreneur, right? So he has to do a market research, and by knowing doing the market research, he will come to know the intending product in the market, and those things again will be produced in more and more number. Then determining from form of an enterprise based on the nature of the product, volume of investment, etc. He can determine the different form of enterprises based on the nature of what kind of product he's going to produce, and what will be the volume of investment, whether it is a small scale investment, medium scale investment, or an entrepreneur is doing a large scale or a huge investment, right? That is also a function at that particular stage. Then recruitment of manpower, right? During this stage, the functions are like recruitment of short term and long term. The manpower that what he is recruiting, he should see that who are the manpower for the short term purposes. Like for the short term requirement, you require some short term people, job work, and for the long term purpose, you require some other kind of employees. Under that, again, an entrepreneur has to choose the right man at the right place, right? He has to see that well educated, right, skilled and knowledgeable person should be there in the organization, and there should be a combination of all the people, skilled papers as well as the unskilled people for the unskilled kind of jobs. Similarly, the combination of experience and the newly appointed staff, these all things related to a job of an entrepreneur. Similarly, implementation of the project. Finally, he has to implement a project where develop a schedule, action plan for the implementation of the project within the time bound, right? Everything is ready, market research is done, and the entrepreneur has determined the enterprise, recruitment of the manpower has been done. Finally, implementation will be done, right? The final production will start, or develop a schedule or action plan will be made, and that whatever action plan or schedule is made, it is implemented, and the project within the time bound, like they will fix a time, within that particular time the project need to start, or it will get completed, and the project will start working on that particular period of time. So these are few of the functions of an entrepreneur.